There are dozens, if not hundreds of videos online about metric standards, physical items by which the metric units were defined until they were all replaced by standards derived from fundamental constants in 2019. Every possible angle you can think of has been explored. I thought there was potential in looking at how much the physical standards were off at the moment they were replaced, but it turns out that's just a good title. The actual video would only be about 30 seconds long. If you were wondering, the kilogram was off by about 10 micrograms. That sounds quite impressive, but of course the new standard was designed to be as close as possible to the old one. So, why am I making a video? Well, while researching, I found out the country I live in has a unit of its own that made waves. I'm at the town hall in Leiden, in the Dutch province of South Holland, and behind me is the Rhineland Rod. Between these two studs is the distance of one Rhineland rod, and this iron bar on the wall is one Rhineland foot, which, as you can see, is slightly longer than a normal foot. These are replicas. The original Rhineland rod, which was the official definition of the units, was rusted to the point of being unreliable and eventually, unfortunately, lost in a fire. Because of that, a copy became the new official definition that on paper is still used today. That copy is stored away somewhere for preservation, but a replica should be on display somewhere in the university observatory. If I was able to find it, you're seeing B-roll of it. If I wasn't, well, you're not. The Rhineland Rod was a widely used unit in the Low Countries. It had been maintained by the Rhineland Water Board since the early 14th century. They trained official surveyors called landmeters, which translates to land measurers. In Leiden, you could be fined £10 for not hiring an official landmeter. And yes, I mean pounds, not guilders. Not British pounds, though. The monetary history of Holland could easily be its own video, so I won't get into it here. Back to the Rhineland Rod. It was an incredibly consistent unit of measurement, especially for a time where most units were anthropometric, meaning they were based on the human body and varied from person to person. Since the Rhineland Rod was more reliable, it quickly spread across the country and its colonies. The brilliant Dutch mathematician Willebrord Snellius, famous for Snell's law of refraction, was the first person to measure the Earth's circumference using triangulation, a technique that would remain the standard method for large-scale surveying until satellites replaced it in the 1960s. He came within 3.5%, and he did it in Rhineland rods. Of course, eventually the Rhineland Rod was replaced. Napoleon annexed the Netherlands in 1810, and French rule brought the meter with it. When the French left, the meter stayed. By 1816, the metric system was the official standard, and the Rhineland Rod was dead. Except, not quite. The Rhineland Water Board is an organization that still exists. It mentions on its website that the unit hasn't quite died yet. It's still used today, and the application might be the most Dutch application possible. Square Rhineland rods are still used for measuring flower bulb fields. 400 years ago, the Rhineland Rod measured the Earth. Today, it measures tulips.